Welcome back to the channel. Hello to my subscribers and viewers alike. YouTube's most criminally undersubscribed channel. Thank fuck, as I say. Yeah, it's been a busy old time in podcast wars land, hasn't it? Now, I decided to stop making videos about Durga Herger because it was getting a bit boring. And I anticipated nothing was going to happen, but he's back now on one of his positive vibes. He's up and down like Dring, that boy, isn't he? But yeah, I'm not here to talk about that today. Right, what's been going on since we last spoke? Thanks to everybody who watched the Fuck Golf's Coming Home, the movie video. I re-uploaded that onto the channel. That was the reason I originally set up this channel, to put all of my Fuck Golf videos on. So if you troll back through, there's quite a lot of stuff. I did used to make videos on my Griff's Lonely Dollar Lectures channel a few years ago, but I fucking locked out of it. I can't remember the password. So I had to start a new channel. And then when I started covering the podcast wars intellectually, I couldn't be bothered to open a new channel, so I just popped them on the end of this. All very interesting. So yeah, what's been going on? A lot of drama over the last 24 hours. The other week, when I think I've talked about this, the real Danny G had that sort of meltdown, didn't he? His meltdown live. He disappeared for a bit. To sort things out, so to speak. Uncle K went in heavy on him. And then the real Danny G come back this week. All guns blazing for Kate. One a very, very angry video. God, it's strange that, isn't it? And I seen Kate today actually being very angry. Can't imagine. I can't imagine sitting here screaming into my phone and then posting it. It's bizarre, isn't it? But yeah, so Danny G had a live meltdown. Kay gave him grief for it. G come back with a big mad live recently. Kay sort of brushed it off. I don't think he's looking really to get too involved. But then last night I was all kicking off on fighting trolls. See, what I've had first-hand experience of this week for the first time since I ventured into these murky waters. What people are doing is clipping videos and sending little clips to other people and saying, "Have you seen what he said about you? Look at this." And they'll send a clip which doesn't really portray what's being said. I was watching Fighting Trolls the other day and he said, "Have you seen that guy in a video? Somebody sent me a clip this morning. There's a guy in the video going in a house, and saying I shouldn't publicise my fight." And I was like, I think I was busy doing something, probably some sort of physics experiment, listening to trolls in the background. And I sort of put my test tubes down and thought, was he talking about me then? Rewound it a little bit, and I think he probably was. And I thought, he was making out I was taking the piss, you know. But if you'd watched that video properly, the intro was just showing quite a selection of some of my favourite podcast wars hosts' catchphrases. And I didn't say he shouldn't. I said, he says he's a comedian. And I've said on previous videos, I did stand-up comedy 3 times. And I realised it wasn't for me, but I'm not dull enough to think that made me a comedian. And I was talking about promoting comedy nights when I said he started promoting his fight too early because there's a long, long way to go, you know. You got a promotion game is all about peaking at the right time, yeah? That was my point anyway. So I sent him a $5 towards his kebab, you know, just to let him know there was no bloody hard feelings. So somebody clipped this. "Hiya Paul, alright, love your channel, watch about 3 times a week. Keep up the good work, good luck in your fight." There we go, clip that. So as I said from the start, I haven't got any favourites. I'm not here to piss people off or create animosity. I'm just here to report my findings on what I see. So anyway, that's what happens, it appears, that people clip little bits of videos and send them to other people. And then they form an opinion on it. Bizarre, really. Yeah, thanks, PP. Apparently, PP watched my Football's Coming Home video. I like PP, so if that was the real PP who said he'd watched it, nice one. If it was a fake PP who said he watched it and he enjoyed it, thanks, fake PP. Yeah, so I was watching Trolls last night. Very strange episode. And there was this lady on it. I christened her DCI Lambrini. Now, she was just making out she was some normal punter. But there was something very dubious about the whole thing, you know. A lot of things she said didn't add up, you know. She said she'd only discovered Paul's channel the night before and decided to come on. But then she was very, very comfortable being on a live. And then she was looking at the chat saying she was getting really upset by it. And then obviously old Dring appeared to tell the chat, stop being mean to women. Yeah, cheers, Ash Pankhurst, for your sterling work for sexual equality. But yeah, there's a lot of things she said didn't add up, you know. At one point, she had a bloody bottle of bevy delivered and went out with her phone whilst live, putting the guy who delivered the bevy on live. Now, I've been on like radio stations and, you know, how do I say this? I sound the twat. But I've been in some of these weird sort of situations or whatever, right? And I went on, whose lives have I been on? I went on Uncle K's once when he first started for a few minutes. I went on Rackpul's once for a few minutes. And have I been on Trolls? I don't know. But I just popped in, you know, like, I think with K's, it was near the start of him doing lives and there was nobody on. I thought I'll pop on, show a bit of support, you know, that was my motivation there. And I think it was the same with Rackpul, I think maybe in his Christmas Eve one. But anyway, my point is, I went on to these lives, right, and I was fucking nervous, yeah? Even though, you know, I'd been in some high pressure situations, you know, during the course of my various careers. But going on to somebody's live, like, it was just a little bit, you know, I was a bit nervous anyway, yeah? Don't need to fucking say it 20 different ways. So this woman last night, supposedly being on her first live, and I know she may have had a bevy and all that, but she seemed far too comfortable, you know, being on a live for a first timer who only discovered the channel the day before. So I found her a little bit strange. And she was popping on and popping off, and you know, there's people in the chat saying, oh, she's old Bill, she's old Bill. I don't know if the old Bill would quite go about it that way, but there's definitely something not quite right there. And then a bit later on, this other woman come on, all like fucking, she had a fucking hat on, baseball hat, and she was all, you know, basically in disguise, not disguise, but trying to look as inconspicuous as possible. And then she was asking Trolls, what's all this dookie hooky business? And Paul was like, oh, look, I don't want to talk about it. And then he mentioned Uncle K, and then Uncle K was sent a clip of this, and then Uncle K went fucking mental this morning, you know, saying that Trolls was sort of grassing him up for something. Not that he's done that, but I think Paul was just trying to say to this woman who said she was a reporter of sorts, I think was her quote. I think Paul was just trying to say, oh, look, you know, Kay's channel got taken down for talking about Duckle Huckle. So he didn't want to talk about it to her, and then I think after a while he realised it was a bit weird and fucked her off. So I think, you know, when Kay was sent clips from this, I think it looked a bit dodgy to him. And I can understand how Kay thought it looked dodgy, but I don't think Paul was particularly being vindictive. You know, I think he was just being a bit Paul, really, you know. And then somebody put a clip up, which I'd seen previously. When she came on, I thought, I've seen it before somewhere. And somebody shared this clip of this woman who said she's a reporter of sorts. And she's with this guy with a big beard who may or may not be a partner. He was waving her around, I would say a wad of cash, but it was probably about 250 quid. whilst he was saying that he'd been out robbing shops and using sort of what would be termed these days, and those days, as racist terminology. And she was laughing away in the background. So, what was her channel called? Fuck, somebody put the link to it. I can't remember, but yeah, so she's not a reporter, for one thing. Yeah? What do you do, Paul said. She said, I'm a reporter of sorts. And it's like, no, you're not. You're just a fucking busybody on YouTube like the fucking rest of us. And if she's on YouTube to the point that she was in this live stream, as I say, when this bearded chap was waving around what somebody earlier described as this pip bunny, it's Christmas pip. You know, she's on lives and all that, but yet she doesn't know any of this Duckle-Huckle affair, which has been everywhere for months and months, as anybody who watches bullshit like this will know. Then it just don't add up, yeah? So the fact that this sort of DCI Lambrini and then this sort of Sunday sport reporter came on to Paul's in the space of half hour of each other, it was all a bit fucking weird. Then somebody's clipped some of those, some of that live, sent it to Kay. Kay's gone fucking nuts. Apparently he's coming off YouTube now before he fucking does something he regrets. Which, you know, you got to respect that really, if he knows that this business is fucking with his head. And it's best to step back from it before it goes real world, as they say. Then maybe that's a good idea, because as I've said from me off, I don't have fucking favourites in this game. I like watching fighting trolls. It's funny as fuck sometimes. He can be a bit flipping annoying, can he? Do you know what I mean? Not annoying, but sometimes you think, oh, for fuck's sake. But in the circumstances, he does quite a good job, really. I like watching Uncle K. He just tells it like it is, you know. I like watching Darren G. I think he's quite interesting. I like watching Danny G, you know. He's quite an interesting bloke once you get past the sort of biting arms off type stuff, or pulling arms off and biting faces off and that, you know, he talks some good stuff. So yeah, you know, and what I found, and I sort of realised it, not after I started making these videos, I think I knew it before I started making these videos. The last thing I wanted to do is get too involved in this caper. Do you know what I mean? I just want to report back on it, you know, just practicing my journalism really, because I'm a reporter of sorts. I'm not. You know, there's a lot of channels like that, Island Boy in it, Ronan or whatever, and a few others. You can see that they're trying to promote their channels, they're trying to make their channels as big as possible, as quick as possible, and they're going on as many lives as they can and saying, oh yeah, well I got a channel, come and follow me, and they've all got loads of subs now, you know. Well, not all of them, but, you know, they got a lot more than me anyway. But the fact that I haven't tried in any particular way to grow this channel is working in my favour, as I knew it would. Because I just don't get a load of fucking abuse. Do you know what I mean? You know, I don't want to put a video up and then have to read the comments where half of it is people saying, you fucking absolute cunt. It's like, I don't need you to tell me that. Do you know what I mean? I don't need anybody to tell me my faults. Thank you very much. So yeah, like Video Craig last night, he done a live. He come on live. I was about to go to sleep, man, and I think I must have rung the bells on these things because I get notifications. It's like, Video Craig's just gone live. I thought, I'll watch that. Lasted about fucking 10 minutes, I think, before he just got destroyed, you know, by the guests. People coming on the live and just porn bombing him, as they say. And he was just getting a load of comments saying, oh, you're a twat, you are. And then he obviously turned it off. He thought, oh, fuck this. Do you know what I mean? And this is what happens in a mob mentality. I've read books about mob mentality. People in a crowd will do things they would not dream of doing alone. Yeah, so you got to be very wary of mobs. And you see her at the darts, don't you? you know, when the crowd is sort of trying to wind some player up or whatever. And as soon as he reacts to the crowd, that's it. They love it. And then they'll, ooh, they'll try and fuck with him even more, won't they? So yeah, don't go single-handedly. The only person I've seen doing a good job fighting a crowd is that Wolves fan running into the Wigan fans. Have a look on YouTube. One Wolves fan run into about 300 Wigan fans. I think he probably got bad. So as much as it made a good video, it didn't end well for him. Although he's probably quite renowned in his borough now. Yeah, but weird times on you, isn't it? Weird times. Let's talk about this inner circle, outer circle, magic circle, circle of deceit, blah, blah, blah. You know, you see that I originally started making this to cover the English Atwood sort of developing beef. They tend to have, they've taken a step back. English has never really got too involved, has he? You know, in any great level. In all this bullshit element. The remedial class of YouTubers, I call it. Atwood's dipping in and out. He's watched a few of these, commented. But he tends to, I don't know, he sort of gets involved in it, but I think he thinks so. Well, probably a few viewers to be had if I get amongst this. I think English just does his interviews and continues his plan to take over the world. Yeah. People get a lot of stick for donations and stuff. I've thrown the fucking, not much because I haven't got much, but I've thrown the odd donation, these people. Give them down G the odd couple of quid. Fighting trolls a couple of times. There's a few other channels, you know, outside of this sphere I watch. Occasionally I'll chuck 2 quid in and make a comment, do you know what I mean? You know, it's called begging, innit? And I suppose it depends how you ask for donations, innit? But you know, I'll be perfectly honest with you, right? If I could get 1,000, 1,500 subs, proper ones, yeah? You know, people who actually watch this shit and think, yeah, this guy's alright. I sort of agree with some of the things he says. I don't agree with some of the things he says, and we can have some sort of constructive conversation about it via the comments. If I could get like 1,500 subs, and then say to these subs, right, we're taking it off YouTube now, we're going over to a different platform. It's going to be a membership scheme where you pay $5 a month and we'll build a community. You know, my other channel, Griff's Lonely Dollar Lectures, I wanted to get all the lonely people together. And yeah, and then capitalise on that loneliness, mine included. Go after that lonely dollar, get 1,000 lonely people, get them all to give you a $5 a month, which means you got $5 a month, which means you haven't got any financial worries, which means you can concentrate 20, 30 hours a week building a community to stop us all being lonely, you know? And if I could get myself in a position, right, where, like we used to say in the call centres, £1,000 a week, all I want is £1,000 a week. I'd be happy on £1,000 a week. If I had £1,000 a week for doing this, you know, I'd put a bit of effort in, build a community, and you know, and I'd be helping more people on Dring, you know, with mental health and addiction issues. I'd be helping more people on bloody Dring. So when people get stick for donations, I don't always agree with that. As my mate has said, these aren't my words, a mate of mine has got a channel and, you know, he asks for donations and stuff, and he says it's a bit of a working class thing, innit? You know? Somebody like Paul, for example, right? He gets a load of shit, right? But he's probably spending 25, 30 hours a week on his channel, yeah? Now, if you don't like him, you don't have to watch, you know? If you don't want to donate, you don't have to donate. But if he's putting 25 hours a week into his channel, and he's making money off that. What the fuck's wrong with that? You know? If people want to donate, you know? I was sort of a bit tongue-in-cheek about going to an alternative platform and putting it behind some sort of a paywall. You know, you always want to get voluntary donations, don't you? Do you know what I mean? But, you know, but I'd love to do that. You know, I'd love to be getting £1,000 a week, and all I had to do was sort out my real life commitments and then concentrate on making content, as they call it. You know, I'd happily put 40, 50 hours a week into this. Sure beats working, as they say, doesn't it? So yeah, it's always a bit of a strange one when people get criticised for donations. But I suppose it depends how you go about it. But yeah, voluntary scheme, fuck, you know. As I say, I'd never come on here and say, you know, oh, donations. I'd never dream of asking for donations. You know, obviously just private message me about that. Yeah. Anyway, it's been emotional. I gotta go. We got a really important Welsh Foot Golf Association Zoom meeting now. Start of the season next month. And we got so much to sort out. That's going to be a good laugh. A Zoom meeting with about 10, 12 people. We've all got about 3 opinions each on every matter. So that'll be a good laugh. Anyway, thanks for watching. Keep on commenting. If you don't subscribe, you may as well subscribe, innit? You know, I'm on about 240 now. Creeps up by a few every week. It's always nice to see it going up. The only reason I ask for people to subscribe is so I don't notice the ones who've unsubscribed, innit? You know, if 10 join a week and 5 leave, I just presume 5 new people are joined. And then my ego is sated, if that's the right word. Yeah, but a lot of drama this week. Infighting, factions. Just stay independent, innit? You know, I said earlier, I said in the Bloods and the bloody Crips. You know, you haven't got to be affiliated to this channel or that channel. Jesus Christ, man. I watch them all. Yeah, anyway, you know, sorry about the over-the-top enthusiasm yet again, but, you know, we're discussing trivial beefs, really, innit? There's only so much passion I can muster. See you soon, guys. Wagwan. Are we still allowed to say Wagwan?